What's up, Big Brother fans? Welcome to Screen This, Big Brother 17, episode 24, brought to you by Morty's TV. Head on over to mortystv.com/bb for a live feed summary, and you can get real-time live feed updates at facebook.com/Morty's TV and on Twitter at Morty's TV. I'm Chris, and I'm ready to talk about Big Brother. Sunday's episode, lots of information. It wasn't so much that lots was going on. I mean, I guess you could say that there was a lot going on because there was a lot of information. We just had a double eviction, so that's 1 week's worth. So, of course, there's going to be a lot of aftermath from that and a lot of stuff that, we didn't get to see on Thursday's episode. So, let's get right to it. The episode kicks off with Meg and Becky upset about Jackie bouncing. James doesn't know why Steve put Jackie up and believes that someone was in his ear. And, of course, we do find out that it is Vanessa that told Steve, it was like day 38 or something like that. It was when Jackie and Vanessa were HoH that week. And Vanessa told Steve that Jackie's plan was to backdoor Steve. So Steve kept that since day 38. A lot changes in 1 day. But to keep that information and hold it without double checking that kind of information for a very long time is, I don't know, it doesn't really make sense from a game point, but hey, what can you do? So Steve is talking to himself again in one of the rooms. He says he was sitting pretty and he didn't want to win the HoH. It was a true or false HoH. There is no way you could possibly guess that many times correctly. It's a 50-50 shot, but what were there, 5 questions, and he got them all right? I choose not to believe that. I really do think that he wanted to win that HoH. I don't understand. Why is he lying to us? Why is he lying to the cameras? Beats me. I have no idea. It just doesn't make sense how someone could say, I didn't want to win that HoH, but kept answering all the questions correctly. And like I said, I don't think it's a 50-50 shot. That's a high percentage, but that's a fluke. That's all I can say. And so this is where we actually see the clip of Vanessa telling Steve that Jackie was going to backdoor him. Then the twins walk into the room where Steve is by himself, and they hug him, and Steve starts crying, and we're kind of waiting for Steve to say that he wants his mommy instead of 2 pretty good-looking twins beside him, but that never happens, and then Vanessa comes in, and she's like, oh, Steve, what's going on? And then, she kind of hugs him, and, Steve, so then anyway, Steve's like, I can't talk right now, pulling that whole thing that he did on double eviction night. He's like, I'm not coherent right now. I'll talk to you later. So anyways, he pulls that same shit on the twins and Vanessa. And as they leave, he says to the cameras, that was 50% acting. What is this? Again, every episode, I choose to support this guy. And he does some weird shit that I can't even explain. I don't think anyone can really explain what this guy does. Why is he acting? Why is he crying? So he could get some good-looking women on him? I don't really see him as that type of guy. So what's his play here? I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, it's day 57 now, and Meg, Becky, and James finally decided, yes, 57 days later, they have decided that there are 2 sides of the house. These people are dumb. Seriously, sure, it's easy for us to say it because we see it on TV and that's the way it's edited and it's formed, and we see all the chats that, if one side of the house is having all these chats, the other side doesn't see it. Whatever. There's you have to know this. You're in the house for 57 days already. Anyway, they've just decided that there are 2 sides of the house, and apparently all of this has become so obvious to them because they're wondering where Steve is going to go, and they think Steve is going to join the Sixth Sense side of the house. So all this because of Steve, ladies and gentlemen. It makes absolutely no sense, but these people are officially crazy. Anyway, John was a part of this conversation as well, but he didn't really say much, and I truly believe that he is smart enough to understand that, yeah, the house has been split for quite some time now. Now Steve, Meg, and Becky have a chat about what happened. At the end of the day, Meg and Becky just say, yeah, Steve, don't worry about it. We're looking at the bigger picture. And they believe that they know who told Steve this information about Jackie. And of course, there's a shot of Vanessa, and we get the idea. It might have been, I'm sure they had a discussion on the live feeds. Whoever's reading and listening to watching the live feeds, I'm sure you can confirm this, that they do believe that it is Vanessa, but I figured instead of Big Brother editing that conversation in, they just spend a 1-second shot of Vanessa's face to kind of give us that idea. So the HoH competition is a tournament style. Basically a bunch of emojis show up on the screen, and then there will be a question. The house guests have 3 choices to pick from, and of course 1 is the correct answer, so whoever guesses it correctly advances to the next round. So James and Meg faced off first, and Meg won that. Then it was Austin versus John, with John taking that one. Vanessa and Julia face off, and Julia wins it. And then the last matchup in the first round is Becky versus Liz, and Liz takes it. I kind of love how and I should mention that these names were drawn randomly. We got to see them. Steve was the host, and he picked the names out of the bag of whatnot. And I just love how it all matched up, because now in the final 4 you have John versus Meg, which, yeah, they're on the same side, but on the other side you have the twins, Julia and Liz. So you're going to have one person from one side of the house, one person from the other side of the house to be in the finals, and it could be anyone's week. Who knows who's going to be in power until now. So when John and Meg face off, John knocks out Meg, and now he's of course in the finals, and Liz takes out Julia because Julia answered the question incorrectly. So John versus Liz, which side of the house is going to be in power this week? Well, let me say, Austin's going to be one hell of a happy dude, because Liz is your new HoH this week. And in case you were wondering, yes, Austin did kiss Liz. Now Becky and Meg are in the have-not room, and Becky's basically losing it. She knows she's going home. She says she might as well pack up her bags, because she knows that Vanessa's going to get into Liz's ear. And she tells Meg why Vanessa is so convincing, and she basically lets Meg hear it, saying that she wanted Vanessa out because of this. And no one listened, and here's the aftermath. And I can understand from Becky's perspective. I mean, if I was in Becky's shoes, I'd be super pissed. The plan was to get Vanessa out. She's really convincing. She gets in everyone's ears, and everyone does her work for her if she's not HoH. Like, Vanessa basically gets what she wants all the time. And so Becky's pissed, and yeah, I would be pissed too, because now if I was in Becky's shoes, I would be the target this week because of what happened last week. It's just the way it goes, and Becky, unfortunately, as much as you want to be pissed at James and Meg and everyone else who was supposed to vote for you, and maybe even Jackie at the time, it's just too bad. It sucks. I mean, no one listens to you. You think you're working as a team, and then all of a sudden it just doesn't work out. And it's unfortunate for Becky. Now Liz, Julia, Vanessa, and Austin, they're in the cabana room, and Liz says that her plan is to nominate John and Meg, and then someone wins POV and they backdoor Becky. Of course, there's no more Sixth Sense because Clay and Shilly are gone, so that now they are known as Austin's Angels. Dear God, please help us all. Now Becky heads up to the HoH room to talk to Austin, Liz, and Julia. Becky says Vanessa was the one that planned for Austin going out, and now they all can't believe this piece of information they just heard, and they are second-guessing Vanessa. Hang on a sec here. Vanessa and Liz and Julia were pretty clear of Vanessa's plan. I'm pretty sure. Again, I've got terrible memory. This happened way back day 37 or whatever. I'm pretty certain Liz knew about it for sure, and then things changed. So, and Austin shouldn't even be pissed. Because yeah, Vanessa's plan was to get Austin out because of what he did that week. He messed up everyone's game. So what are the consequences? Well, Vanessa wanted you out, Austin. So there's no reason for you to be upset about this all of a sudden. And no reason for Liz and Julia to be upset either. Maybe Julia because, maybe she wasn't in the know, but I'm pretty sure Vanessa did tell Liz what was going on that week because of Austin and Liz's friendship, relationship, whatever you want to call it. So I don't think, especially Austin, has any right to be pissed and to think like, oh, we should go after Vanessa. No, that's just wrong. Anyway, we do get a segment. Apparently, James and Steve are getting super close. They're playing chess. They're spending a lot of time together. So they're getting close in the house, and there's a whole segment on it. Hashtag bromance. But that's all I got to say about that. Vanessa, Steve, Julia, Liz, and Austin are in the HoH room, and there's not much that comes out of it except they're trying to figure out a new alliance name. Now, just to kind of back it up a little, what Austin's angels were, of course, Austin, Liz, Julia, and Vanessa. But now they want to bring Steve into the alliance, so they need to come up with a new name. And they come up with the Scamper Squad. Okay, no big deal. Moving on. John and Vanessa are in the cabana room. This was probably the highlight of the night. Vanessa feels that John doesn't like her, and she wants to, clear the air, and especially of what happened last week with Clay going home, or 2 weeks ago with Clay going home, that whole drama part that happened. So Vanessa says, John, can I give you a piece of advice on how to better your game? Who are you to tell John? Like, how can you be so straight to the point? How can you be so blunt? Basically you're telling someone, hey, your game is shit right now, and let me tell you how to play it, because I've been doing so good this game. I honestly couldn't believe it. And now, and John, he's like, okay, sure. And then Vanessa was like, well, and what's funny is she tells him how to improve his game, or how to be better at this game, but then it goes right back to her, about her, saying like, oh, you shouldn't be pissed at me, or you shouldn't, I want to work together, I want to work with you, but you shouldn't be upset with me. And it was like, okay, so that's how to better my game. Okay, be friends with Vanessa. Okay, that makes sense. And so John says that he felt bullied when that whole charade went down between himself, Vanessa, and Clay. And she doesn't understand. She's like, I don't know how you were bullied. I didn't bully you. That doesn't make any sense. And John's like, okay. Like, I was basically there having to throw one of them under the bus. And, I wasn't comfortable doing that. And, of course, Vanessa doesn't like that he said that. And then John goes so far to say that she shouldn't cry and yell at people or at him. And, of course, she doesn't like that either. And what I don't understand is Vanessa doesn't take this criticism well. So Vanessa's like, hey, let's be open, let's have this conversation. And John's like, sure, let's do it. John says his piece so that they can, bond and get closer together. And Vanessa doesn't accept it. She's like, no, not cool. I don't like this. So what happens? Vanessa leaves she leaves the cabana room. Where does she go? Straight to the HoH room. Opens the door and basically, to sum up, says, hey, I think John's the new target now. Oh my god, I don't understand this chick. I support her a lot of the times. I really like her as a game player, but like one conversation and that's it. It goes south, and she's like, hey, we gotta put him up. Forget Becky, forget what Becky did to me last week. We gotta put John up. She's crazy, but hey, she's still made it this far, and she will continue to make it a little bit further. So far to say, I'd probably say top 5 for sure. Anyway, so then John, of course, wants to go straight to the HoH room as well, and he goes, Vanessa's there, of course, so he opens the door, he gets in the room, it's kind of awkward silence. Vanessa then says, hey, can I get some privacy? Can I just finish up my chat here? And then John's like, yeah, sure. I mean, it's kind of fishy that we were just having a conversation and you came all the way up to the HOH room. She's like, oh, okay. And John, like, I hate when people, like, I would be so uncomfortable if I was in John's shoes, like, especially when someone's like, oh, okay. It's kind of like, well, what the hell? Like, you know you're in the wrong right now. Why are you spinning this on me right now? So anyway, Vanessa's like, oh, okay. And then John's like, all right. So then John just leaves. And then, of course, they all kind of giggle about it. And that's like Austin, Liz, Julia, and Vanessa. And they giggle away. So anyways, to wrap it all up, Liz actually nominates Becky and John. I guess the plan there, like the plan was Meg and John and backdoor Becky. But I guess of what happened between Vanessa and John, I guess Vanessa was like, you know what? Screw it. If let's just put them both up. Whoever stays is the one that goes home. Forget any backdoor plan. Let them both fight for it. Whoever wins gets to stay, and whoever loses is gonna go. That's the way I see it. Because like I said, it was supposed to be Meg and John. So I guess the other thing they probably also figured is that John's won he's won 3 POVs, so he's probably going to win anyway. Well, he's got high odds that he's going to win the power of veto. Therefore, Becky will stay on the block and Becky will go home. So I guess it's still according to plan. And but I guess we'll see what happens on Wednesday. Make sure to subscribe on iTunes for my podcast. But if you want a visual aspect of my podcast, make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Until next time, I'm Chris, and I'm out.